leader in goals against in Division I. This will be a fun matchup between two very stylistically different teams as Mark Silos and Tommy Burke do battle in the face-off dot. Face-offs are going to be very interesting as well, as Tommy Burke, one of the most seasoned face-off specialists in all of Division I lacrosse, playing his first season with the Buckeyes. And eventually it is won by Johnny Cool, the ground ball. To pick it up for Ohio State, Buckeyes will get first possession.
And you're going to see Ohio State's got a number of transfers on this team.
Yeah, this is transfer central for Nick Myers and this Ohio State Buckeyes team.
Gannon Matthews, coming out of the box right now. He'll get the ball, transferred from Cleveland State. Excuse me, that's 34, not 24. 24 is Matthews.
Wake Island is 34 with the ball. Skipped across to Alex Manier. There's Matthews up top.
And he draws the long pull.
That's Eddie Rahill on Matthews. He'll try a bouncer pass to Wyatt Nuss, and it will just go wide. Back up first to Ed Sheen, who had 4 assists the last time these two teams played. Excuse me, no, 4 goals the last time these two teams played. Marnier, hounded by Christopher Davis. Swims around him and will try low. And this is something we've seen from Wyatt Nuss in his first season starting. A lot of good low stops.
Yeah, he closed the legs there. It looks like he was going to try and go 5-hole and did a nice job staying on the pipe.
But it went off Nuss, which means the Buckeyes get a fresh 60. This is an interesting area for Ohio State, offensively only averaging 10.8 goals per game. Shot fizzles wide from Jack McKenna. And back up first will go to Cornell. Right there was Jay Singer.
It's a good hustle play. If I'm Ohio State, though, I'm not so thrilled about that call. I thought their guy on the end line, while he, it's closest to the ball when it goes out, not closest to the line. I still think they could argue that he was the one there. But Cornell will take his first offensive possession. This is an interesting matchup to watch.
Kirst versus Bobby Van Buren. Very big for Ohio State to have Bobby Van Buren back and healthy. Was injured to begin this season for a couple of games. But now you patch up 44 in red versus 15 in white. That'll be a matchup to watch.
Van Buren's a 2-time honorable mention All-American.
Long around X, and it was deflected on the way in. Race for the ball, and who won it? Kirst just got there first.
We're seeing Spencer Wertheim drawing the long pole. I think that will mean you're going to want to go right here with this matchup, Kelleher.
Kelleher fire, and it will go right into the stick of Caleb Fyock.
And I think that one, there was a check that slowed that shot down. He didn't quite get all out on that one.
Good first stop for Fyock in his 5th start. Wasn't originally the starter for Ohio State. That was Henry Blake, but he has been injured, so Fyock, the freshman, will step into the net for the Buckeyes. Here's Ben Meyer all the way up top.
Ohio States tend to be known for more of a 2-man game type offense, so we'll see if they go with that.
Matthews will draw Walker Wallace all the way out. And Wertheim is stuck out on defense, so he now gets this very tough matchup. And we'll see Keene to just pass it back between that 2-man game. Dylan McGee. He's got Charlie Box covering him. Matthews just over 20 to shoot. He'll try to bouncer, and a nice stop by Nuss, and picked up by Matt Dooley, making his 2nd start of the season on close D.
And Cornell showing confidence in Wertheim as a defender. They did not slide to him there. So they're saying, hey, we trust that he's going to be able to stay in front of his man, and then Nuss was there to make the good save.
And especially with how the pro game has developed with the shorter shot clock and the PLL, you want your midfielders to be very talented two-way. And Spencer Wertheim showing it out there, and now giving the second midfield a chance to shine,
which is interesting
for the Big Red.
It's interesting because he started at Cornell as an attackman.
Here's the matchup again. We'll watch on this side of the ball. Kirst versus Van Buren. Van Buren, 2022 Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and he forces the ball away from Kirst, but right there on the ground, ball was long. Ryan Sheehan. Up top to Blake. Andrew Dalton had a lot of space, and now we'll give it to Kirst. Forced out. Shot low, and it fizzles past Fyock's cage. There's Aiden Blake on the score sheet.
And it's interesting, one of the things you're going to see about this matchup between these two key players here is that both of them are left-handed, right? So watch Kirst dodge here, he's got to get his stick across the body there, and that's how he was able to create some space. That just slow approach. Kirst takes advantage of it, comes across the middle, and then finds Blake on the wing, who just shoots it low.
Third goal of the year for Aiden Blake on that second midfield line. And this will be the interesting battle to watch as well, to see how Cornell tries and counters Tommy Burke coming into this season, into this game with a 60 faceoff percentage win. Cornell does pick up the faceoff here, but not cleanly. Ball was still on the ground, and eventually Kyle Smith is the one who gets the ground ball. And then the clean clear over the timeline. Brendan Staub bringing it over.
Now, these may be two teams, Cornell more of an offensive team, Ohio State more of a defensive team, but both of them are going to battle you for the ground ball. There's not much doubt about that. Back to the first midfield here for Cornell.
Talented freshman Willem Firth has drawn a scored stick. 9 goals for Willem Firth, tied for the team lead and wanted 10. But it went wide right.
No problem. You got Michael Long to back it up here. Still plenty of time on the shot clock.
Burke will set a screen.
Yeah, and I think that's right. His feet were not set, so Ohio State will set up the clear.
Of course, Firth not operating where he would normally operate. He usually does most of his work in front of cage. Ohio State does get the clear. This was something to be watching as well for Ohio State. In their latest loss to Virginia last weekend, 4 failed clears for the Buckeyes. That eventually ended in a 14-8 loss for Ohio State, their only loss of the season against one of the best teams in the nation in UVA. Sheen was right in front of the crease. Goes all the way up top, but the shot is just a little bit high from Ben Mayer.
Another of those transfers. It is raining here. That shot did not come clean out of his cross there.
Element's always a factor in Ithaca. Davis was all over the back of Matthews, and the shot was deflected on the way in, and there were 2 white jerseys to that. But the backup was right there first to Ohio State. Dodge from Mayer, and it just goes wide. Might have gotten a touch of Nuss. And this Ohio State offense is trying to put the pressure on Wyatt Nuss early.
It seemed to me like the 2 defenders were closer to the ball. Maybe the ball went up so high, it might be just difficult to judge from here exactly where it was crossing the line.
Lake Island will go on the invert. He's drawing out Caleb Newman. Marnier stings the low corner.
And there, it's interesting, usually you see a change of side there. They stayed right on the same side. So even though they got the Cornell defense rotating, he throws it right into where the slide was coming. And I don't know if it was Nuss kind of went down, it was a little higher than he thought, or what it was, but it wasn't a situation where he was screened or anything, which I thought it may have been the first time. Just blows the shot right by him, Alex Marnier.
8th goal of the year for Alex Marnier. We're all tied up at 1. And Silos winning a clean face-off against Tommy Burke. Mark Silos going low, and his shot fizzles wide right.
Number 34, Blake Island. From Highland.
Cornell's got to treasure these opportunities while they can, especially since you know that Burke is going to go on a run of face-off wins at some point. First midfield out.
Change game.
Cutter over the middle, but Wertheim's pass just a little bit too behind Hugh Kelleher, trying to keep it in. Michael Long, he did, but eventually picked up by Marcus Hudgens. But Hudgens' pass almost sailed too wide for Connor Samil. Samil will just bring it over the halfway line. And again, Wertheim stuck out on defense. Wertheim had a bit of time to sub, so they must really trust Wertheim on defense if he's still staying out there.
I think they just want to make sure they're in and safe. If you want to make Ohio State work for every goal. Don't give up the easy one in transition. Just get inside, and we'll play at 6-on-6.
Well, this time, Wertheim has run out, and a fresh defender on for both teams. Around cage and over the top, Jack McKenna sneaks it over the top shoulder of Nust. And Ohio State's got the early lead.
I think you see there, just got a little bit more of an angle, came up front and was able to convert here on this shot as he comes back with his right hand.
Ohio State's got the early lead in this interesting matchup between two of the best teams in both the Big Ten and the Ivy. 2-1, Ohio State.
Fans, you can access the
Day in Ithaca. Christian Guzman here alongside Tom LaFalce. And Tom, Ohio State's made its chances converted, and Cornell just hasn't quite yet.
Yeah, I think Cornell still sort of feels like they're settling in this contest, and Ohio State's done a good job of taking advantage of their opportunities. Now Cornell will get in the ride.
A little bit of a wayward pass coming from Tommy Burke, looking to get it back to his defense, but Van Buren able to corral it, and eventually it's Matthews who brings it over the halfway line to get the clean clear. McKenna wants goal number 2, but his stick was hit on the way on the shot.
Nice job of a trail check there. It was, I believe it was Christopher Davis coming out of the substitution box.
Maryland inverting a lot early on as Idle will bring 𝐢𝐭'𝐬 down. Oh, and all the way up top. Marnier, his shot was deflected on the way in.
That was a big soak by Matt Dooley. Caught him right in the shoulder blade. I don't know how those guys do that. It's bad enough that when that ball is moving to get hit somewhere with padding, and as guys wear less and less padding, God blocking these shots is something else.
Only padding you see is the sweatpants that both goalies are wearing right now. Mayer looked for Island. He's absolutely hounded, and Dooley gets his stick on the ground.
Good double team by Cornell. They slid aggressively, came stick side, made the play. And Davis with the clear. Cornell will set it up.
Hasn't been the cleanest offensive possessions for Cornell so far, but you know this is an offense ready to explode at a moment's notice.
And Cornell going deep within their midfield group.
Third midfield out with Alex Holmes and AJ Nikolek out there. Brian Sheehan will be the third midfielder alongside them.
Saw some of this in the Hobart game as well. Now Cornell went very deep in that one, pretty much substituting the entire fourth quarter.
Kirst hounded by Van Buren. He got around him and beat him low. Oh, CJ Kerr showing up a moment of absolute individual brilliance to beat Bobby Van Buren.
And he dodges here from behind, comes with his right hand, and he's comfortable in his right hand. He comes around, and actually he almost was a little twister-like. He came back to his left hand, but you're seeing that more and more from guys where that, you know, bring the stick to the middle of your body or sometimes even cross it over to protect your hands. And there's a nice opportunity. Kirst gets on the board for the first time and ties this score at 2.
And with 𝐤𝐤 and Cage, it feels like that's the area you want to beat him low.
Yep, that does seem to be the scouting report here. Good ground ball pickup there. That's a good job by Van Buren.
Ball forced out though. Cadigan's on the ground and the ball back out on the ground once again. And eventually it's picked up by Greg Longermeer. Whistle all around. And Cornell's going to get this ball back.
I think they're calling it for him getting the stick against his chest, withholding the ball from play. Had that look to it, especially when you get in those tight scrums. You get a little hidden ball trick here. Wertheim's the one with the ball, but we'll get a little two-man game.
Ohio State's figured that out now. Now it's Willem Firth with the ball in his stick. Wants to go low against 𝐤𝐤, but a great low stop from the Ohio State netminder. And just getting the clear over are the Buckeyes now. A long pull shot is in from Justin Scherer. Oh, what a great goal in transition there from Ohio State.
And I tell you, there was I think the Ohio State bench was looking for a push from behind right in front on that clear, and they just came down in the long pole. You know, it's so difficult. There's some people, like, you used to be like, oh, let the pole shoot, let the pole shoot, let the pole shoot. Well, now you look at the PLL, they get so much whip that fastest shot contest is all long poles, right? And it's a weird release. It can come out in different ways, and there he just blows it right by Wyatt Nust.
That's the first goal of the year for Justin Scherer, the transfer from Maryland. This Ohio State team with numerous transfers on its team to help out and try and gain some footing in the Big Ten. And the long pull from Johnny Cool will pick this up as well.
you know, they had a difficult year last year. They started out pretty well, and then they went on a losing streak and ended up losing early in the Big Ten tournament. Not what you've typically expected from this Ohio State Buckeye team, which has, you know, been making the NCAA tournament.
These two teams matched up last year. It was a Cornell 16-13 win. Island, great individual dodge, just got it around the long pole of Brendan Staub. And Ohio State's offense is now cooking, being very efficient with its offensive possessions, up 4-2.
Well, and here's an example of any defender. You can't lunge at the stick like that. That's just an old-fashioned face dodge, just coming right downhill, no slide, no nothing, coming out of that transition.
Only the second goal of the year for Blake Island, but this is an Ohio State team who weren't expecting to be this explosive offensively. Already 4 goals in the first 15 minutes. Also helps when you have Tommy Burke at the face-off X, but he still hasn't won this face-off cleanly. Walker Wallace is fighting for it alongside Kyle Foster from Ohio State, and eventually Chris Davis is the one with the ground ball. Wallace tries to keep it in. Ohio State will get possession.
That was a close call. I thought Wallace was able to get it off to CJ Kirst before he was out of bounds. Referee a lot closer than me, though.
So Ohio State will set up for the clear. But this is a Cornell team that takes pride in its writing. But Langramere will get it over.
Ohio State's had no problem clearing the ball so far in this game. I think they've looked very poised.
They got 4 failed clears last week against Virginia. That must have been an emphasis in practice for Nick Myers. One of the goal scorers right here, Jack McKenna. Christopher Davis is the short stick covering him. There's a switch from Jack Follows. Marnier also a goal scorer. Dylan McGee trying to get around Luke Gilmartin. Thought about a shot. 20 to shoot for Ohio State. Matthews has the short stick. Take the shot, deflected on the way in. Looked like it might have gone off Wallace's helmet. And Follows, surrounded by red jerseys, and it trickles out. And Dooley trying to protect the ball because he wanted a shot clock violation. That's really smart game sense there from Matt Dooley. Well, that was a risky pass from
That's
Nust.
the second one that Nust has thrown that I'm sort of like, oh boy, what are you doing here? But he's put him, you know, made the connection.
Alex Marnier almost intercepted that pass intended for Staub. Second midfield will now trot out for the Big Red. Big Red have gotten some good looks on Cage, but Caleb Fogg has been up to the task. Coming into this game, 5th in the nation in save percentage. First.
Just a bit outside.
Tried the audacious shot there. The goal was not quite where Hurst thought it would be.
Yeah, it didn't move. That much I know. I'd like to see Michael Long get involved a little bit more here if you're Cornell.
Dalton forced back. 25 to shoot for the Big Red. And Sheehan will think about an invert, but now Long trying to get past Marcus Hutchins. Looking inside, Andrew Dalton. What a great pass from Michael Long has set up Dalton.
As I was saying, right, get him involved. And part of the reason that's happening is because the defender, Marcus Hutchins, is staying behind the cage with him, but a good cut from opposite side, just right to Michael Long as he comes towards goal line extended. Again, when the ball's moving from behind to the front, the goaltender's got to get his feet turned, he's got to get his body turned around, you know, and against a bigger goalie, that's how you can be successful. It's not just going to be stand in front of the cage and rip it as hard as you can.
Michael Long, the leading point scorer for Cornell this year. That's his 11th assist and 17th point, and it is a face-off win. Momentarily, as Hugh Kelleher was the one on the wings there for Cornell, but he had the ball forced out of his cross. And so Ohio State, with less than a minute to go, will hold for the final possession.
They can hold here. It's an important stop here for Cornell. You want to get out of this quarter 4-3. Try and not let the momentum get away from you.
Less than 30 to go. Island, one of the goal scorers, getting instructions from the sidelines. He'll work against Charlie Box and initiate. Out wide to Marnier. Up top, Matthews slide from Kelleher. Less than 10 to shoot. Ohio State, little lackluster on this possession, and shot from McKenna. Sheen tried to get, what a save, double save from Nuss, as Sheen on the rebound tried to make it a 2-goal Ohio State advantage, but Wyatt Nuss up to the task.
I'm not sure if it would have been good. It was really close, but it was, he makes the first save and the ball pops up in the air, and there were 2 Ohio State players up there, and they're able to get the save inside. Watch this as it pops up high, and then off stick side, quick hands.
This will be a great goalie battle to watch between Nuss and Fayok. But right now, it's still 4-3 in favor of the Ohio State Buckeyes here at Schoellkopf Field. It is 4-3 after 15 minutes here between Ohio State and Cornell. The Buckeyes holding the advantage over the Big Red here in Ithaca. And a face-off violation will give the ball straight over to Cornell, the first one for Tommy Burke.
Exciting first quarter, pretty evenly played. You know, both teams had 9 ground balls, both teams with 4 face-off wins. Wyatt Nuss had 4 saves, whereas Caleb Fayok had 2.
Yeah, the big difference is in the shot disparity. 16 Ohio State shots to Cornell's 9. And that's just a lot due to the time of possession. Ooh, audacious skip pass there.
It was there. It just wasn't a great pass, and unfortunately, he was to Danny Cadigan inside.
Cadigan was on the crease waiting for that pass from Wertheim, but just a little bit past him. And Ohio State will now go on to clear.
10-man ride here from Cornell. First time we've seen this today.
First time we've really seen it all year as well. That's an aggressive decision. 5 seconds to get the clear over, and they just do, as Greg Langermeer gets it over.
I like throwing that in. It's just a change-up, little change of pace. You're a good riding team, so you don't need to use it a ton. But if you can catch a team, and you could see there were a moment or two there where Ohio State was like, oh, what am I doing, what am I doing? They had plenty of time, which was their fortunate part for them. And now,
and opponents this season are only clearing 80% against Cornell. Matthews gets around Wallace.
Matthews has been able to get his shot in this game. You know, it's his first goal of the game, but you could see actually Cornell had put Jack Follows on him for a period of time, so they're clearly trying to get the long pole to him. There you see Wallace, and he just gets run right by.
Leading goal scorer for the Buckeyes, Gideon Matthews, picks up his 12th of the year.
Matthews unassisted at the 13-41
Matthews, again, another one of those cohort of transfers that Nick Myers has brought to Ohio State in his time recently as head man of the Buckeyes.
Well, the transfer game has become more important in the game of lacrosse.
Another one of those transfers here, Tommy Burke picks up the faceoff win. One of the biggest transfers of the season, of the past cycle. Caleb Fayok got the ball poked out of his stick by Kirst, one of the best attacking riders, and eventually Silas picks up the ground ball. There's that hidden factor of C.J. Kirst that we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, his riding and caused turnovers.
And Cornell almost tried to get a shot on the empty goal, just couldn't quite corral the ground ball, and I think they made the right decision of, let's just get the ground ball here when they bring out their second midfield group.
Hayden Blake, one of the goal scorers. Send it all the way up top to Sheehan. Dalton, another goal scorer. It is a slick field. It has been raining all morning. Long tries to beat Fayok low, but a nice kick save.
Well, I think it was actually the defender who got it. The shot seemed like it was going to go pretty wide, and it's unlucky for Cornell. You know, sometimes you take that shot where you're like, oh, if I miss the cage, we'll back it up and we'll get possession. And there it just hit an off-ball defender, and then that creates the opportunity for Ohio State to get the ground ball. We've got offsides here on Ohio State in the substitution game.
Yeah, Coach, it looked like one of the assistant coaches, most likely Coach Busick, was running from the sideline to yell at the officials and notify them of that offsides. And so an unforced error there for Ohio State will give this precious possession back to Cornell. Hybrid midfield line as Sheehan will now make way for Kelleher to come out. Hurst. CJ cursed. Oh, boy. Sometimes the magical things that 15 can do just leave you gazing.
Well, and there's an opportunity. That was a matchup, right? They were able to switch the matchup. He had a short stick for a while, and then they sent the defender Cullen Brown at him, not the guy who's been guarding him all game, Bobby Van Buren, and he knows I'm going to the cage here, just nice and aggressive.
4 goals for Kirst in this matchup last year, 2 goals already for one of the best goal scorers in Cornell history. And Mark Silos, a clean face-off win.
Yep, he's come out the front a couple times here.
Interesting to see Silos take the majority of the face-offs. Nothing yet from Angelo Petrakis, who we probably expected to split even time with Silos. That's our Wertheim. This is something that Cornell loves to do as well. Wertheim, the former attacker, going on the invert. And he'll try to bounce her, but just a little bit too hard.
Now they're going to bring back 2-man game with Long initiating from behind.
This is the advantage that you have with Wertheim on the field. Also footing a little bit. Great shot from Langermeer. Disrupt Wertheim. Now Kelleher. Man all over his back, and didn't seem like Firth was expecting the pass.
It was also from a pretty short distance. Sometimes those like really short passes are just difficult to connect on. And now we'll see Cornell in the 10-man ride again. Sort of a modified 10-man because you're not playing man-to-man on the goalie.
Fayok will just send it over, and Nuss, whoa, the save from Wyatt Nuss, sliding over from the 10-man ride. Wyatt Nuss has done some magical things so far in this game. The double save to end the first quarter and denying the goal on the 10-man ride.
That Fayok pass was a really good play. He knew where he could go, and he finds the guy guarded by the goalie, and Nuss scrambles to be able to make the save from outside of his crease.
And maybe this is something Ohio State, Cornell is putting on Fayok, as well as Dalton gets it off the leg of Fayok. Fresh 60, though, for Cornell. Remember, Fayok is a freshman, so it's maybe throwing these 10-man rides when he's the one picking up the ball after turnover is, playing mental games with him. Slide to Kirst, most likely necessary at this point in the game after 2 great individual goals. Blake got held for a second, no flag. Long fires and scores. You don't see Michael Long operating from midfield most times, as the ex-attacker finds himself on the score sheet with a rip.
And it's just a little stutter step sort of dodge, and he comes to his left hand, right? Everybody, these guys, one of the things that happens over time is they know the scouting report, right? So place on the field where he doesn't usually shoot from, stutter steps, brings it to his left hand. Again, I love it when you shoot from directly in front of the cage because you've got as much of the goal to shoot at as possible. We're going to get a timeout here.
Nick Myers is sensing that this momentum is shifting the way of Cornell. You've got one of the most explosive offenses in Division I lacrosse now getting going. This game is all tied up at 5 between Cornell and Ohio State.
At 3 p.m. when they face off against Dartmouth. We hope you stick around.
It was only a matter of time before the Cornell offense started clicking in this game. Maybe the 3 goals, a little bit lackluster by Cornell Big Red standards in 2024. But a 2-goal stretch here in the first 5+ minutes in quarter number 2. And all the momentum seems like it's on the side of the Big Red.
I think if you're Cornell, you just got to stay true to the process, right? Keep running your offense. I think Ohio State's going to, keep trying to be, strong at the defensive end. Make sure they work through their matchups. And now we've got another of these battles at the face-off X.
Almost checked out all the way, and eventually it's Chris Davis, who picked up the ball, but it was back on the ground once again. And Ed Sheen is the one who recovers from the scrum.
It's interesting, Sheen, who had 4 goals against Cornell last year, I feel like that's about the first time he's touched the ball in this game. I think I remember you mentioning him once in the first quarter, but comes up with that important ground ball for Ohio State. And Cornell again bumping, follows up to Gannon Matthews. Matthews been able to beat a couple other defenders.
A goal for Matthews, also a goal for the man with the ball in his stick, and Jack McKenna. He's got Chris Davis covering him. McKenna up top. That's Matthews. Slide comes from Gilmartin.
And that's what they wanted.
There is the switch. Matthews has the shorty on him. Looked for the pass inside. The Cornell offense started clicking in this game. Maybe the 3 goals a little bit lackluster by Cornell Big Red standards in 2024. But a 2-goal stretch here in the first 5+ minutes in quarter number 2. And all the momentum seems like it's on the side of the Big Red.
I think if you're Cornell, you just got to stay true to the process, right? Keep running your offense. I think Ohio State's going to, keep trying to be, strong at the defensive end. Make sure they work through their matchups. And now we've got another of these battles at the face-off X.
Almost checked out all the way, and eventually it's Chris Davis, who picked up the ball, but it was back on the ground once again. And Ed Sheen is the one who recovers from the scrum.
It's interesting, Sheen, who had 4 goals against Cornell last year, I feel like that's about the first time he's touched the ball in this game. I think I remember you mentioning him once in the first quarter, but comes up with that important ground ball for Ohio State. And Cornell, again, bumping follows up to Gannon Matthews. Matthews been able to beat a couple other defenders.
A goal for Matthews, also a goal for the man with the ball in his stick, and Jack McKenna. He's got Chris Davis covering him. McKenna up top. That's Matthews. Slide comes from Gilmartin.
And that's what they wanted.
There is the switch. Matthews has the shorty on him. Looked for the pass inside to Sheen. Couldn't quite do so. Island picks up the ground ball and fires it past Nuss. That's great recovery there from Wake Island to pick up his 2nd goal of the game. Buckeyes back in front.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a force inside here on this feed, and just a sort of a Johnny on the spot sort of play there by Island. Picks up the ground ball, 2nd of the game.
Island unassisted at the 8:41 mark.
Island came into this game with only 1 goal on the year, and now 2 on the tally for the sophomore from Delaware, Ohio.
And now you're seeing different face-off matchup.
For both teams, Jack Oldman will take it for Ohio State. Angelo Petrakis for Cornell. Probably well-deserved after the massive scrum that ended the last face-off, and it's Oldman who picks it up. 5th face-off win and only his 10th attempt for Oldman on the season.
And again, Kelleher running a wing there for Cornell, which is interesting.
Don't usually see those first attacking midfielders on the wings. And number 27 in white has been asked to step up on the wings at times for Coach Busak.
Caleb Newman in for Cornell at short stick.
He's covering Dylan McGee right now. McGee getting past him. Slide comes over, and the pass intended for McKenna is off his stick. Ground ball up for grabs. And Skidding past everyone, and it's Follows who picks it up with his long pole.
Boy, he just accelerated through that one.
He wants to go quickly. Follow long pole in Rahill.
Good decision here by Cornell. Settle the ball. You had 2 long poles in the offensive end, which also means if you have a turnover, that means that you're short long poles at your defensive end. Obviously, if you felt like you had something really good, you take it.
Wertheim directing traffic. This is not what we expected from Ohio State, only averaging 10.8 goals per game. The Buckeyes offense has come to play.
It's interesting that Follows is still out there at the offensive end. He's got an attackman with him. And they were trying to see if they could get a switch on that. Instead, they're going to get this on the sub game.
Keller wanted to go fast, but lost control of the ball momentarily. Wertheim working against his short stick, Eli Fisher. Nice pass onto the crease. Michael Long denied at the doorstep by Fyock. What an excellent save from the freshman keeper.
Just stayed big, right? Just made sure Long didn't have a lot of space to work with. I'm actually surprised he didn't end up in the crease there.
That's the 50th save for Fyock on the season. He's been excellent for Ohio State since stepping in for the injured Henry Blake. Meyer, who was the attackman, caught out on defense then during the last possession. And now Ohio State will settle things down. And now the real question is for Ohio State, can they keep this pace up? Shot low, might have been deflected on the way in, and 𝐤𝐬𝐬 was in the crease before.
He had follows on him there.
The thing is with this Ohio State team is that Ohio State hasn't scored over 13 goals in a game this season.
Yeah.
And we're rapidly approaching that halfway mark of that tally well before the first half ends. So can the Buckeyes keep up that offensive pace against a Cornell team that is averaging 18.7 goals per game?
But, you know, that is what Cornell's given up, right? I mean, they're giving up on the year 12.3. They're only the 49th ranked offense in the country. You know, so I think maybe Ohio State says, well, you know, hey, we can play. We can get this done here.
C.J. Kurse, 2 goals and an assist. Dalton, a goal. Blake, also a goal. Trail check not successful from Langermeer. Dalton, nice dodge, diving, and can't get it past Fayak, but Laundry flies as Dalton was pushed from the back. And so, especially with the shot, when the shot clock was winding down, there's only 12 seconds on the shot clock. And this gives Cornell a fresh 60 and a man up.
Yeah, was able to dodge and get under his defender there and just get inside, and that's what ended up happening. The defender was behind him, and he just extended his arms as he was getting near goal line extended, and that's a, you know, almost a textbook push from behind 30-second technical foul. So Cornell's extra man will come on. You know, for having such a great offense, their extra man is not really clicking at a high level, only at 24% on the season. Ohio State's extra man, man down defense, number 6 ranked in the country.
Ohio State only 1 goal allowed on the extra man on 9 attempts. Cornell 3 goals on 11 attempts on the extra man offense. Penalty was called on Eli Fisher.
30-second push for possession.
Her thought about it. Here's long off top into Rory Graham, but a nice low stop from individual effort from Hudgens, the close defender, to get the ball across the halfway line.
But they're off. No, I thought I heard a whistle.
Whistle now coming, and
oh, it's a timeout, Ohio State.
Nick Myers will use his second and final timeout of the half.
Ohio State calls a timeout.
Cornell on the X cover against Michael Long, who's done a great job of not really giving Hudgens an opportunity to cause any turnovers. Let's restart here. Wake Island with 2 goals. He's droned the short stick in Luke Gilmartin on the invert.
Got him
hung up. Now to switch, Gilmartin's on the attacker 𝐤𝐬𝐬 with 4 goals last year. And this shot from Alex Marnier was just a little high, and the backup was to 𝐤𝐬𝐬 first.
26 on the clock here to shoot.
Still plenty of time for Ohio State to work with on this shot clock. Shot, score. Alex Marnier gets his 2nd goal of the game.
And Ohio State really just going to step down shooters. This is another example of it. Just steps in with his hands free, beats Wyatt Nuss down low. He had a bunch of saves down there early in the contest.
6 saves for Wyatt Nuss on the game, but that's his 7th goal allowed in Ohio State. The offense we thought wouldn't be quite up to par against some of the tougher competition has absolutely shown up and proven some people wrong here. Oldman is staying out there for a face-off against Suarez Silos, and Jack Oldman's going to win it.
But no timeout left here. They used their 2 timeouts, so Cornell try and get him trapped.
Oldman's forced to the ground, and that's going to be a flag thrown on Singer. And the ground ball was also picked up by Ohio State. So Ohio State looking to go maybe on man up. They will, as Myers' shot was into the stick of Lust. And this is most likely going against number 43 for the Big Red.
Cornell had the face-off man trapped there right along the midfield line. And it'd be interesting to see if they call this a push with possession.
It's only a technical foul, so this will only be 30 seconds. And this penalty is going against Matt Dooley, not Follows.
So Ohio State's man up. Clicks along at 28%.
4 for 14 for Ohio State on the extra man.
48 ranked in the country. Although, again, Cornell's specialty units have not been great so far, allowing the opponent to, you know, over 50%. Ohio State's first man up opportunity.
Of course, when you've got a brand like Ohio State, you know that the contingency is going to travel well. And you can hear some of the friends and family behind the Ohio State bench cheering on the Buckeyes. And even though it's a rainy, cold day here at Schoellkopf Field in Ithaca, the Buckeyes, at least very happy right now, hanging with the number 9 team in the land, up by 2 goals. This will be a statement for Ohio State as well after losing 14-8 to Virginia last week. Meyer all the way up top. Matthews found Sheen. Now Meyer thought about the shot. Penalty is released. And Matthews won't be able to fire before the extra man comes back. So now we're back to 6-on-6. And Kirk Burden, the extra man attacker, will sprint off to get a more balanced lineup for Ohio State. So nothing doing there for the Buckeyes on that possession. Good zone defense there from the Big Red to deny the extra man. Kyle Lewis dancing around Charlie Box. Matthews. Sheen's got his defender hung up. This is what Cornell's been doing a lot as well. Switching to the short stick, and Sheen can't quite take advantage. Myers also got a short stick on him. Only 2 seconds to shoot. And Ohio State
shot clock violation.
Didn't even get a shot off on Cage on time.
Well, and I tell you, I think Ohio State got an extra 20 seconds in there, because when they started that penalty, I think they reset it to an 80 instead of a 60, because it was in the offensive end. So I think they had a little bit more time there than they should have.
But all the
and
more,
they still couldn't get a shot on goal.
All the more impressive. However, only 2 seconds left to clear, but luckily Ben Meyer's deflection doesn't turn out to hurt the Big Red. Meyer pounding his stick on the near sideline as Chris Davis was the one who picked up the ground ball on the clear. Approaching 1 minute left to go in the second quarter. Ohio State's offense only averaging 10.8 goals per game. It's put up 7, and C.J. Kirst will make it 7-6. That's a hat trick already in the first half for C.J. Kirst.
And the thing that's interesting, we'll see what this flag is. They were trying to lock off Kirst with a long pole, and he backdoor cut him. And it looks like it's a minute foul, so that would get served. Could make this an interesting opportunity for Cornell.
And this is called on Kyle Foster, the long pole.
Cornell goal scored by number 15, C.J.
So this will be very, very important as well, as Nick Meyer sends out Tommy Burke to take the face-off.
Yeah, this is a big face-off here if you're Cornell, because if you lose it, you're probably going to lose your extra man opportunity. Again, remember, they've got a timeout.
Ohio State penalty to number 44.
And Kelleher picks it up after Silos forced it back.
Now, because it's a minute penalty, you may just say, nope, they do use the timeout, right?
Yeah.
Let's use the timeout, get our personnel changed, not worry about losing time. You know, you can't take them to the second half.
Coach Busak still had both his timeouts, and you might as well use it here with a man up. Like you said a little bit earlier when Cornell had his first man up, hasn't necessarily been firing on all cylinders this season. 2 of the goals for Graham. Number 23 in white is the extra attacker that Coach Busak elects to use on the man up.
Starts in a circle, which we have not seen yet. They put Cadigan in the hole. Remember, Cadigan was an extra man guy inside for Cornell last year. Now he's the third attackman.
Long thought about it. Kelleher also did. Firth will send it to Graham behind cage. $20 left on the man up. Still no options inside for Cornell. 10 seconds. Cadogan will rip and score! We saw Cadogan score from that exact spot in the first game of the season against Lehigh. And Danny Cadogan has tied this game up at 7 on the man up.
Just a laser, right? They were trying to run things out of the wheel. Here they find him, and he just puts it in the top corner, opposite stick side. Gets this to be a tied game again. I believe that's our second tie of the quarter. And now you've got 10 seconds. So this is enough time for a make-it-take-it sort of situation. You know, you come out the front. You see that Cornell's put Jack Follows on the wing, but all the way at the defensive end. So Cornell's got 2 long poles in the midfield spots.
Jack Oldman's taking the face-off for Ohio State. Follows almost picked up that ground ball, but it looks like no one will get a goal before the halftime horn sounds. Follows does get the shot off, but it will go whistle wide. And a frantic, hectic first quarter comes to an end. In a half that Ohio State will take, especially on the offensive end. Maybe not so much what they would have liked on the defensive side, but offensively, 60.9 face-off win percentage. The combination of Mark Silos and Angelo Petrakis have made the face-off battle 7-7 each.
Well, and Burke is actually below 50%.
He'll get a face-off win here as Ohio State will get the first possession of the second half.
And now he's exactly 50%.
Trent 𝐤𝐬 with the ball right now. Absolutely hounded by Follows near the halfway line. Matthews will take it out. 1 goal for Matthews. Leading goal scorer for Ohio State now with 12 on the season.
Staub on him now. Felt like we didn't see him a lot in that first half. Cornell was using a lot of their pull depth in that first half.
Dylan McGee forced wide. Here's Marnier with a short stick. Matthews still has that pull and Staub on him. 30 to shoot now for the Buckeyes. Gets around Staub, going towards cage, and Nust got the stop with his right foot. The low shot stopping skills of Wyatt Nust come up to play once again. And that's the 8th save for Wyatt Nust on the game.
Cornell making changes through the midfield, bring out their first midfield unit.
And I feel like both of these teams are really amped up. A lot of chatter on the sidelines right now. I feel like this first goal will send a jolt of momentum through this stadium for whoever scores it. We saw this a lot in the first half. Spencer Wertheim on the in for the former attacker, but it's forced out of his stick by Connor Samil. Eventually, Hugh Kelleher picks it up, surrounded by red jerseys, and again checked out. This time, Wertheim back on the ground ball. 30 to shoot. Firth free. Send it back to Long, who's got a defender hung up in Hudgens. We'll send it to CJ Kirst. Kirst has got a shorty. And the switch comes as Johnny Poole meets him. 3 goals for CJ Kirst. Dancing around, feeds Danny Cadogan. Nice stop from Fayok. Fresh 60 though for Cornell. Kelleher will fizzle that one wide.
Good offense here by Cornell, getting good ball movement. Nice save by Fayok there inside. We're seeing now that Firth has picked up the long pole from Ohio State.
Officials are discussing things near the crease right now, just off to the right of your screen. As they'll get the positioning correct here for Wertheim on the restart. Really interesting to see Wertheim operating a lot behind cage. He'll now take a shot and it also bounced off.
Boy, he got to where he wanted to be, and then he just missed the cage. Just, you know, you never know how a stick reacts in the rain. You just never do. It's a lot better than it used to be.
CJ Kirst matches his total from last game against the Buckeyes with 4.
And there's your first 3-goal run of the game. Michael Long looks inside. They use the pick to get his hands free, and just a very little curl from Kirst just blows it by 𝐬𝐿𝐽.
And the first lead for Cornell since the opening salvo of this game.
Yeah, it's been one of these games where it just seemed like every time Cornell got close to tying it, Ohio State would get the next goal.
The first goal of the game was scored by Aiden Blake at 10:31 in the first quarter. That was the first and only lead for Cornell up until this point. And the ball squirting now. Officials are discussing. They have no idea who's got the ball. They'll come together now and decide who's got possession. And the ball is going to Cornell as Eddie Rahal will pick it up on the sideline. Rahal directs a little bit of traffic as he'll restart things. Big faceoff win for Cornell as Ohio State has at points led by 2. That's only been the biggest lead for either team. Second midfield will trot out. Been a good game for the second midfield. Goals from Blake and Dalton on the game so far. First against Van Buren. CJ Kirst, and a nice low stop from 𝐬𝐽.
The little finalizer move from X, made popular by Mikey Powell. 𝐬𝐽 up to the task. Maybe he needed just a little bit more angle.
Both keepers now at 8 saves apiece. As Greg Langermeer thought about going fast, but instead will settle things down.
I believe this is only the second possession here in the second half for Ohio State. Nuss with the save on the first one.
Blake Iwan's got 2 goals for Ohio State. Looking for a third. He had his stick checked out while he was shooting, but Ed Sheen right there on the doorstep picked up the ground ball and just floated a changeup past Nuss.
I'm not sure he really shot that. It almost seemed like he was picking up the ground ball, and it just kind of went in.
Mm-hmm. I'd have to agree with you there. Kind of lifted the ball off the ground and it just snuck over the top shoulder of Nuss. No one expecting that, but Ed Sheen will pick up the goal. And now we're all tied up at 8. That's big for Sheen as well. 4 goals the last time these two teams played for number 10 in red. Picks up his first goal.
Ohio State goal.
And Tommy Burke with another face-off win.
Assist from number 34, Blake Island. Jalen from Island at 11:06, mark third quarter.
Bad pass. Rahal right there to pick it up. Cornell looking in transition. Cadigan over to Kirst, and he'll settle things down.
Cornell had an opportunity because Ohio State was in the change game. They've got Sheen stuck on the defensive end here.
Eddie Rahal's going to stay on to try and force Sheen on the field, but he'll back off.
Kirst says get out of the way.
We want our first midfield out. That's who's trotted out for the Big Red. Cadigan out wide. Here's Hugh Kelleher. 4 goals in his last game against Hobart, but another low stop from 𝐬𝐽, who's seeing those low shots well now from Cornell.
Almost got into his body. You know, just it seemed like it was a good shot for Kelleher to take. For some reason, it didn't seem like he got quite everything on it. And 𝐬𝐽 up to the task.
Now Kelleher is also stuck out on defense. Iwan will back things up. As the Ohio State coaches give some instructions on who will be coming on. Jack McKenna with the ball. A goal and assist today for McKenna. Runner out of the box for Ohio State, doesn't decide to use it. Box covering McKenna, and the slide was just enough to derail the shot. Sheen with the backup, 30 seconds on the shot clock. A goal apiece for each team in the second half, all tied up at 8. McKenna around box, but he was in the crease, kind of lost where he was on the field there.
He got underneath him too. I mean, he had a step for a second, but then steps in.
Long pass from Nuss. Finds box well over the halfway line. We've seen a couple of those from Nuss going for those long clears on the near sideline. At least for Cornell, it's worked out. No failed clears for Cornell. 2 on the day for Ohio State. Second midfield, Ryan Sheehan, head full steam. All the way up top. Dalton gets it to Long. Long looking for Cadigan, who was cutting, deflected on the way in, and this should go to Long first on the backup. Michael Long looking for assist number 12 on the year. He said wants goal number 8 on the year. He will get it.
Just a strong dodge from X to his left hand. That's his second of the game. He used the pick behind there. You'll see as he lines it up to sort of just create just the tiniest little bit of separation. Dalton, it wasn't a 2-man game because the defender didn't come back. He just used a straight out pick. Creates a little bit of space. Looked like 𝐤𝐬𝐽 came off the pipe.
This is a 5-point game for Michael Long. 2 goals and 3 assists. He's up to 21 points on the year in only the 4th game of the season for Cornell.
But Ohio State gets the important face-off win. Another win there for Tommy Burke.
Yeah, this is where it gets dangerous. Tommy Burke now starting to roll. Honed his craft at Vermont last year with a 64.8 face-off win percentage. And that was good for 3rd nationally. Came into this game with a 60.9 face-off win percentage. Both teams have done a good job of settling down into the shot clock and looking for shots deep into the shot clock. Maybe tire out some of these defenses. Matthews got around his matchup. That one across off the pole, but a shove from behind will draw a flag.
Yeah, that'll be a 30-second push on, I believe, Christopher Davis. Just the same call that happened against Cornell, right? You get underneath the defender at goal line extended, and then you're kind of like trying to play catch up, and you get him in the back. And Nuss, I think, got the save there. But Ohio State will have an opportunity to go extra man. They're 0 for 1 on the extra man so far in this contest.
Nuss did get credited for the save, so it's 9 saves apiece for each goalie. Goalies have really come up to play today.
Cornell penalty to number 7, Christopher Davis.
And as you said, Ohio State, second man up, only didn't score on the first one. Then didn't get a shot off, I believe, on the first one either. It was also a 30-second. Now right on the crease, Nuss, great hands. And he was in the crease when he fell. This goes to Cornell. Sheen right up to the, Nuss right up to the task, stopping Sheen right on the doorstep. And now Cornell with 5 seconds to clear the man up. They'll do so. Boy, an excellent job from Ryan Nuss. That's a hell of a way to get your 10th save.
Nice little, they just took advantage of a 2-on-1 right near goal line extended. Able to get that high quality shot. Nuss up to the task. And Cornell will come back with its first midfield.
First midfield's been quiet. No points for anyone on the first midfield. Long, 2 goals. Wants a third! Michael Long, 6 points for number 1.
And there's an opportunity where, to me, the thing that was missing from this Cornell offense last year was Michael Long from X. He's just so comfortable back there. He just comes straight on dodge and just puts it underneath the goaltender.
Only 7 games for Michael Long last year. Now with 22 points on this season, largest lead of the game for Cornell.
It's about supporting your favorite Cornell causes. It's about having fun and perhaps a bit of competition. Use the QR code.
Every sport needs its quarterback, its leader on the field, the man who's giving directions to everyone, and it feels like Michael Long has been that guy this season when he's been healthy at X. Again, not healthy last season, only 7 games from number 1 in red, but now 6 points for Michael Long today. And his latest goal has given Cornell a 2-goal lead as Brendan Staub is forced to the floor on this faceoff. CJ Kirsch challenging the long pulls, and eventually Marcus Hudgens will pick it up.
And we've got a flag down here behind the play.
This was going against Cornell. Not sure exactly what the flag is for.
𝐤𝐿 knocked the cross out of Van Buren's hands. So I don't think it would be that.
So penalty incoming. Going against Cornell. Ohio State's got the opportunity to be a little bit careless with the ball. That's what's going to happen here, as this is going to go out of play and start the man up. It's 𝐤𝐿 who is trotting out to the box right now. Yes, 𝐤𝐿 is talking with one of the officials.
Have to wait for the official signal here. It's a 30-second technical foul. I couldn't see.
Looked like it was a hold
Yeah.
on 𝐤𝐿. So only 30 seconds. That's the third 30-second that Ohio State will get on a man up. Over 2 so far.
Cornell penalty to number 15, C.J. 𝐤𝐿, 30 seconds interference.
Interference.
A great stop from the man on your screen right now, Wyatt Nuss, on the last man up. Absolutely stonewalled.
Starting 1-3-2 to 1-4.
Here's Sheen up top. Up to Matthews. Sheen's got a lot of space. Decides not to use it. Rings
Pipe.
off the pipe. Big pipe job from there from Kyle Lewis. First band to the backup was Matt Dooley.
Still 15 seconds left in the foul.
How aggressive will Cornell be on the ride here? Penalties now released. We're on full strength. 10 seconds to clear. And Cornell will do so. Big momentum swing potentially incoming after killing yet another man down opportunity. 0 for 3 now Ohio State is on the EMOs.
And we'll come back with the first midfield. It's interesting how Ohio State's kept changing the matchup. They haven't had a clear preference of who to put the long pole on, so now you're going to see 𝐸𝐿th, who had it a lot in the first half, invert against the shorty.
That shorty is Eli Fisher. 𝐸𝐿th will back it up. Again, no points from this first midfield. An unusually quiet day for the first midfield.
Because the attack has been so electric.
4 goals and an assist for C.J. 𝐤𝐿 with the ball on your stick right now. He's also got the shorty in Fisher, but now we'll get the switch off. Madigan now has the shorty. Back to 𝐤𝐿. Here's the star man, Long. 3 goals and 3 assists. He'll get another assist here. Willem 𝐸𝐿th, the star freshman, has his 10th goal of the season, and it's 4 assists for Michael Long as well.
And now you're seeing Cornell on a 3-goal run to get this out to their largest lead of the game.
This was always going to be the danger. Cornell's high-powered offense at a blink of an eye can put goals on in a heartbeat.
Again, we talked about it in the first half. By feeding from behind, you're making 𝐸𝐿 have to change from where he's looking, turn all the way around, get his feet set, and then try and find the ball. That's the way you can beat almost any goaltender, right, with that movement. And that's one of the reasons that Cornell shoots such a high percentage. They have the 3rd best shot percentage in the country. But another faceoff win here for Ohio State.
Clark shovels it over to Langramir. This shot might have hit pipe, and it sounds like it did from Alex Marnier.
No, we didn't get a reset. Oh, no, yeah, you did. And I almost thought Nuss may have gotten a little piece of that one.
Kind of one of those odd situations where the reset kind of hurts Ohio State.
They lost 13 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Because it was such a quick shot.
All alone, Ben Meyer was all alone in the middle of the field there. No one in a white jersey around him. That's the 11th goal of the year for Ben Meyer.
Just a little curl inside. Good look there by McKenna. Just finds him, and just Cornell lost track of the matchup. Stops the run.
This is where you can't take care of this also when you're Cornell, especially with how good Burke has been on the face-offs. He won't take one here as Jack Oldman will, but you know that if number 9 is out there in red, he's got a very good chance of getting the ball over to Ohio State. It's Oldman and Petrakis, and eventually it's picked up by Chris Davis. He was shoved from behind. They'll play on.
And I think he was trying to throw it back to Wyatt Nust, and Jack Follows sort of got in the way a little bit. But no harm if you're Cornell. You're able to get the clear to Aiden Blake. Second midfield group for Cornell.
And it has been this second midfield has 2 goals to the first midfield's 1. 4 goals for C.J. Kirst. Eventually, Ohio State gets its defense correct. Dalton. Seven-point game for Michael Long. Dangerous, but he's got a short stick on him. Working against Fisher. Now across GLE. I'll send it back up. Goal for Aiden Blake. Across the long, still has the shorty. Slide comes in. And it's Cohen Brown backs him up. Kirst in the middle, picks it up. Behind the back. Oh,
a little
C.J.
French
Kirst.
10 to shoot here for Cornell. Good ball movement, good shot opportunity, but they got to go fast.
Cadigan to Nikolic. Only 4 seconds. A.J. Nikolic will just fire it off a body.
Shots blocked.
That will force the shot clock violation. Good defensive stand there for Ohio State. The Buckeye faithful who have traveled here from Columbus, roaring on the sideline. Two failed clears for Ohio State. Make it 3. This ball is staying with Cornell.
That ride just stays right with it.
Now, this is either going to be a timeout or an official review.
Ohio State calls the timeout.
It's going to be a timeout called. Will be an interesting one.
Cornell,
take place in Happy Valley next week.
Cornell will go take on their former head coach, Jeff Tambroni.
2 games on the road coming up for the Big Red. 2 heavy hitters before facing off against probably the heaviest hitter in the Ivy League that could challenge Cornell in the Yale Bulldogs.
Well, and Princeton and Penn both getting big wins in North Carolina yesterday against Duke in North Carolina. They'll change opponents and play again tomorrow. And Cornell, essentially the shot clock and the game clock are the same. It's only about 2 seconds difference. So Cornell's going to, actually they can hold. It's 2 seconds fewer on the game clock.
And
looks like the chin strap was unbuckled in the back. So they blow the whistle and start again and stand here for another couple seconds.
Again, we haven't seen this matchup a lot because Cornell has done a good job of switching Kirst off of Van Buren. But these are 2 of the most talented players in all college lacrosse. 2-time All Big Ten selection in Van Buren. Big Ten Rookie of the Year 2 years ago. Kirst, the Tewaaraton Award finalist. 4 goals for C.J. Kirst. He wants a 5th. C.J. Kirst has 5 goals today.
And he was able, right? That's one of the reasons you dodge from behind the cage, right? He dodges with his right hand and he gets him caught up on the net. That's what creates the separation. And Fayak goes low and he's unable, goes right over the top of him. And actually it looks like he may have turned his ankle, Van Buren, on the back of the net there.
And that would be a big loss. Van Buren has already missed 3 games this season for Ohio State due to injury. And it's his first games back for the Buckeyes, and we already mentioned the accolades that he brought into this game, number 44 in red. If he can't continue to go for any extended period of time, that frees up Cornell big time, and the rest of Ohio State's opponents big time, losing one of the best defenders in the Big Ten.
And 2-time honorable mention All-American, and he's had that matchup throughout this game.
The defender out of Wingate, North Carolina, the junior, still getting some attention near the crease.
And here you're going to see again how he uses the goal, right? He brings him right across. Defenders are taught to trail to X. And trail to X means you're going to sort of stay just behind him a little bit. But what ends up happening there is he gets caught on the goal. And you knew it. It even maybe seemed like it hurt more on the second time across it, not necessarily that's where it caught him up.
You can see Van Buren getting helped off the sideline right now by a couple of Ohio State trainers.
Yeah, only 6.5 seconds left in the quarter here. Still enough time to score. But you're going to see that Ohio State has, I think it's target on at the face-off X. Did I see that correctly?
Yeah, it looks like it's still Jack Oldman. It is.
Oh, it's 17, not 12.
By number 15, 𝐤𝐿𝐳
This half will end.
7-second mark.
It's a good quarter for the Big Red, you know, to come out of the half, get a 5-2 advantage here. That they're back playing, you know, the way they want to play here. They've been able to sort of wrestle momentum away from Ohio State.
Into the fourth quarter, it's 12-9 Big Red over Ohio State. Christian Guzman here alongside Tom LaFalls. Big storyline for me. Third quarter turnovers, Ohio State with 6, Cornell only with 2. Cornell being a lot cleaner with the ball and making those opportunities count on the offensive end.
Yeah, and a 10-6 advantage for Cornell in ground balls in the corner.
They get another advantage here as Angelo Petrakis picks up the ground ball and the faceoff win against Jack Oldman. When does Nick Myers decide to turn to Tommy Burke at the faceoff X for the rest of this game, giving Burke a little bit of a rest right now? Because you feel like if faceoffs continue to come, failed clear by Nust on another one of those long shot attempts. Sheen gets checked as he wants to go to goal, and Singer's going to get called for the flag here.
That's a tough call. I think it's probably the right call, but it was pretty close, I thought.
Most likely will be a 30-second interference on Sheen.
Could be a push from behind.
Now we're getting a 1 minute call, it looks like, from the official.
Yeah, that's from behind. Yep, illegal body check. And I think that's one where it's a big enough collision that it becomes the 1 minute illegal body check as opposed to the 30-second push with possession.
It is indeed going to be 1 minute on Jason Singer. So this is the first time that Ohio State's gone up a minute on the extra man. They've had 3 30-second man-ups, haven't scored on each. Now looking to do so on the man-up here, and Ben Meyer will do just that. Second goal of the game for Ben Meyer, and that's exactly the way Ohio State wanted to start this quarter, with a quick-fire goal.
Yeah, and just Cornell just didn't seem close on any of the matchups there, just not closing out distances. And second goal in a row for Ohio State by Meyer. And I believe the second time in a row assisted by McKenna.
Ohio State goal.
We start here, and it's Jack Oldman who picks up this face-off win. Interesting also, again, we saw 𝐢𝐭'𝐬 once again on the wing on that face-off. Not often you see that first offensive midfielder on the wing. Now Ohio State really taking its time on this possession, backing up and settling things down. Yeah, this is Ohio State offense, only averaging 10.8 goals per game, haven't scored above 13 in a contest this year. That 13 was a 13-6 win over Cleveland State. The most that the Ohio State defense has allowed, it's been 14. That was last week to Virginia in the 14-8 loss that the Buckeyes took to the Cavaliers. McKenna on the invert. Slide comes from Singer. Two goals for Blake Island. Wants a third, and it bounces wide right.
Good motion there by Ohio State, getting the Cornell defense rotating. They'll initiate from behind with Meyer. 12 to shoot.
Head full of steam from Meyer, and his dive shot is going to go just over the cage and wide. Nusk wanted to get there first, but couldn't quite do so, and now Meyer is slow to get up.
2 players.
Cornell player also down near the edge of the crease, and it looks like it's 𝐤𝐬𝐬. 2 key players for both teams. A little bit worse for wear after that challenge. It is indeed Jason 𝐤𝐬𝐬, who is getting some attention from the Big Red. Meyer is back up and looks like he's back into the huddle, as we'll get a replay of what actually happened there. Oh, helmet-to-helmet contact there between Meyer and 𝐤𝐬𝐬. 𝐤𝐬𝐬 is back up and walking off the field under his own power.
And Wyatt Nuss decided to dive just for the fun of it behind the cage. The ball went out on the sideline. He's diving to the goal, to the end line.
So Brendan Stahl will come back in. This is another one of those interesting lineup decisions that was made by Coach Busick. Staub started this season as the primary third close defender, has moved back to a long stick midfield in the past 2 games, and now will transition back to close D.
Only 6 on the shot clock here, so if you're Cornell, you want to make sure you get sticks on hands inside. Watch out for picks.
McKenna will trigger against Kyle Smith. McKenna spinning. Nice low stop from Nust, and it's into the stick of Matt Dooley. Now the clear coming from Cornell. It was a failed clear the last time that set up the Ohio State goal.
Cornell hasn't felt like they've had a possession in a while, so you get things settled, get your personnel right. You know, you mentioned earlier about, you know, Ohio State maybe trying to wear down Cornell, but they've played probably 5 guys at close defense here in this game, and they seem comfortable with an array of short stick defensive midfielders. And then there's the Tom Howley factor of, you know, being a well-conditioned team.
When you score in goals in bunches like Cornell does, you need to be able to run a lot. Willem first has got Blake Iwan caught out on goal, and his shot just fizzled a little wide. Michael Long on his horse got there first on the backup.
Yeah, and he's got Blake Ellen on him, so that's a matchup they'll want to go, and now they switch it around.
CJ Kirst working against Cullen Brown. Earth. Michael Long wanted goal number 4 on the game for him, but it went over top right corner of the cage. Only 13 to shoot now for Cornell. It's also another patient possession for Cornell. CJ Kirst, 5 goals, wants 6, but it will just fizzle wide. And with the shot clock winding down, Cornell knows that they don't have that much time, so they don't attempt the backup.
Cornell's just riding this one straight up.
Fayok drifting towards this near sideline, directing traffic. He'll get Island over the halfway line. Not sure if Fayok wanted to do his best Blaze Reardon impression there or not. And Cornell fans will remember that Blaze Reardon goal that was scored here, what is it, 8 years ago now?
Seems about right.
Again, both teams now really taking their time. Staub working against Meyer. Now Dylan McGee on the invert.
Ohio State really stays with this first midfield group. Feels like almost exclusively.
Sheen denied by Davis on his way to goal. Staub hung up. Meyer surveying his options. Looks all the way up top, but the pass a little bit wayward, intended for Marnier. 10 seconds to shoot. Matthews on his horse, absolutely hounded by Follows. 4 seconds to shoot. Shot inside off the stick of Nuss. Horn sounds. Backup does go to Ohio State, but it's going to be a shot clock violation anyway.
So it must have been deflected. It did go off somebody.
Yeah. Officials ruling it did not go off Nuss, so both teams trading shot clock violations. And we've seen the pace slow down a bit here in this fourth quarter. Both teams really taking the ball deep into the shot clock to take shots.
Yeah, this next goal for either team, I think, is going to be
huge,
pivotal.
Cornell will trot out the second midfield to do so in this possession. 2 goals from the second midfield today. 1 for Aiden Blake, 1 for Andrew Dalton. Here's Ryan Sheehan. Blake. Dalton with Eli Fisher all up in his face. Long decides not to use the hung-up defender. Kirsch from midfield. C.J. Kirsch right into the stick of Fire. Great save there from Caleb.
But we're
Fire.
going to have a push behind the cage, interference. That's going to get Cornell a possession.
Cohen Brown called for the push on Kirsch behind the cage, number 42 in red. It doesn't again, one of the big stories, Bobby Van Buren, the star close D for Ohio State, injured.
That's a full 80-second reset, and because of it, Cornell is going to substitute its midfield, bring the first group out. Plenty of time.
Dalton running off screen at the top of your screen right now. He'll set up, sub off, and like you said, here is that first midfield. Can this first midfield get a little bit more jolt in its step? Willem Firth, the man with the ball in his stick, is the only man on the first midfield with a point in this game. Spencer Worth 9. Kelleher gets the bouncer low past Fire. Schoellkopf field roars to life.
And just an alley dodge here. Comes at it with his right hand, comes right down the alley with the left, shoots down between his legs, didn't even try and get his stick down there. Gets this back to a 3-goal lead for Cornell.
And you felt like the last game was a turning point for Hugh Keller. Only had 1 goal in the first 2 games, but had put up 4 against Hobart. And now picks up a goal here for his 6th goal of the season. But Ohio State, even without Tommy Burke, winning faceoff. Greg Langermeer gets the ball checked out as the shot was going wide.
I'm surprised. That could have been a push from behind, I thought, against Cornell. Ohio State changing personnel here. Again, back to this same midfield group.
McKenna, Island, and Matthews, the men on the midfield. Here's McKenna, forced back. Meyer looking for his options. Again, both teams down one of their primary close D. Iowan looking for his hat trick, and it bounces wide of cage.
Thought Nuss had gotten a piece of that one, but he didn't get his shot clock reset, so he must not have.
Matthews, his shot fizzles high.
Boy, I thought Staub almost was going to screen Nuss as he came through there. The very end, 30 to shoot here for Ohio State.
Ohio State moving quickly on this possession, taking a lot of shots. 2 guys meet McKenna right there, and he falls in the crease. Great slide there. It looked like it was from Follows on McKenna. And now Cornell will go on a
10-man ride.
Nuss sends the ball way long, and he gets it over. Excellent pass from Wyatt Nuss, who's done a couple of those, and C.J. Kirsch gives a little point and fist pump in recognition to his goalkeeper.
That's about the third of those where you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, good pass.
That'll be something we ask Coach 𝐢𝐬𝐧'𝐭 next time we get a chance to talk to him. These long passes from Nuss.
If you're Cornell, you don't want to get too conservative here. Right, work the ball, get a good shot.
Mixed midfield with Blake, Dalton, and Firth.
Still a lot of time left in this game. You cannot just pull the air out of the ball.
C.J. Kirsch certainly won't do that. Nice swim. C.J. Kirsch, nice low stop from Fire as well, but fresh 60. That's huge for Cornell.
And you see Connor Busick give his team the just settle the ball, slow it down, let's work a little clock. But again, you got to stay aggressive.
In any level of lacrosse, 3-goal lead with 6 minutes left is by no means a safe margin. Even against the Ohio State offense that isn't necessarily up to, some would say, maybe the high-powered offenses that you've seen so far in college lacrosse. Willem Firth gets it inside. Shot low!
And a flag.
Score! C.J. Kirsch, 6 goals!
We'll see what the call is on this. They're calling it a hold. It looks like he just goes nice and strong. They're calling the hold because his stick got up near the face. So he was just able to just bull his way through and get that high percentage shot, getting Cornell their biggest lead of the contest at 14-10.
And it's 6 goals for number 15 in white. Like you said, that's a 4-goal lead for the Big Red, the biggest of the contest.
5:54 mark, fourth quarter.
CJ Kirst's 6th goal of the game has given Cornell a 14-10 lead over Ohio State here at Schoellkopf Field. Christian Guzman here alongside Tom LaFalce as Tommy Burke picks up another face-off win. And behind the back pass gets it over to Greg Langermeer. Ohio State looking to move quickly, and right out of the timeout, 𝐤𝐻𝐬𝐬 gets one of those goals back.
I tell you what, I was ready to say, what in the world is Tommy Burke doing?
Yeah.
Because he put this ball in sort of harm's way, but just becomes a 4-on-3 break. Langermeer looks at the point, is able to find 𝐤𝐻𝐬𝐬.
And this is where it gets dangerous because of Tommy Burke, the Tommy Burke factor at the faceoff dot. One of the best Fogos in the nation will do work against Mark Silos.
Got to try and work it out here.
Interesting to see no pulls for Ohio State on the wings there. And it'll work out as Connor Samiel is the one who picks up the ground ball.
Well, they must decide that they want to maybe get some quick offense if they can.
But this is what we've seen in this fourth quarter. Both teams settling down and taking the ball deep into the possession as Luke Gilmartin almost got a caused turnover against Dylan McGee. 6th goal of the game has given Cornell a 14-10 lead over Ohio State here at Schoellkopf Field. Christian Guzman here alongside Tom LaFalce as Tommy Burke picks up another face-off win. And behind the back pass gets it over to Greg Langermeer. Ohio State looking to move quickly, and right out of the timeout, 𝐤𝐻𝐬𝐬 gets one of those goals back.
I tell you what, I was ready to say, what in the world is Tommy Burke doing?
Yeah.
Because he put this ball in sort of harm's way, but just becomes a 4-on-3 break. Langermeer looks at the point, is able to find 𝐤𝐻𝐬𝐬.
And this is where it gets dangerous because of Tommy Burke, the Tommy Burke factor at the faceoff dot. One of the best Fogos in the nation will do work against Mark Silos.
Got to try and work it out here.
Interesting to see no pulls for Ohio State on the wings there. And it'll work out as Connor Samiel is the one who picks up the ground ball.
Well, they must decide that they want to maybe get some quick offense if they can.
But this is what we've seen in this fourth quarter. Both teams settling down and taking the ball deep into the possession as Luke Gilmartin almost got a caused turnover against Dylan McGee.
A little bit of confusion for Cornell. Silos still stuck on the field. And here we've got a uncaused turnover.
Yeah, 𝐤𝐻𝐬𝐬 couldn't quite handle the pass. It looked like it was from Meyer. And now this is another one of those swing moments where unforced error, Brendan stops sending it well over, and Michael Long does a great job to come up and get that pass.
Again, 10-man ride.
But offside called against Cornell. And so we'll go the other way.
So sort of you can call 2 unforced turnovers in a row, 1 for each team.
But now time running out. There's only 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in this game. Yeah, it almost feels like it's got to be pick-me-up pace now for the Buckeyes. First appearance for Ari Allen.
Kelleher stuck on the field at the defensive end. Looks like they're gonna invert him.
We've seen this a couple of times
Allen.
with Kelleher and Spencer Wertheim at times. Stuck out on D. Jack McKenna, nice stop from Wyatt Nust.
Again, it seemed like just didn't quite get everything on that shot. Just right to his stick. And Christopher Davis here
Again,
Pounded.
Ohio State going to this 10-man ride, and Kelleher will receive the ball across the halfway line. And Danny Cadigan will settle things down, and this time, Cornell's not off sides.
Now it'll be interesting to see. Cornell still has a timeout in its pocket, as does Ohio State, to see if Ohio State decides that they need to get into a red dog situation, have the goaltender come out and assist.
Nothing from Fayok yet as the first midfield's out right here.
I think there's enough time that you're not quite to that point, but you're pretty close.
They'll probably get close to that situation after this possession.
Yeah, or if there's a reset of some sort, right?
Yeah.
Even if it becomes this possession, but there's a reset of the shot clock, then I think you got to do it.
Under 3 to go. Firth gets a screen from Kirst. 15 to shoot. Cornell content to let the rest of this clock run out.
Gonna get the pole on. What do we got?
Looks like might have been a ward on Wertheim, potentially, because it's going the other way.
Now, if you're Cornell, it's not the end of the world. You were down to 5 on the shot clock anyway. They were already getting the long pole on the field.
Yeah, but valuable time, like you said, taken off the clock. Now we're under 2:30 to play. And for an Ohio State offense that has struggled at times scoring, and a timeout called by Ohio State, this is opportunities now for Nick Myers to draw up some of his best plays.
You know, and I think for them, you know, you're in this mode of you're down 3. If you get one on this possession, and then you can get a face-off win, and then, you know, you get rolling a little bit here. You got the last goal.
To Jason Singer on the opposite end for Cornell.
So Meyer initiating against Staub.
Brennan Staub is the one who replaces Singer at close D. Marnier trying to fight through the double. Here is Gannon Matthews. Matthews against Wallace in this shot.
Trail check.
Affected by that trail check. And it's going to be called not a shot. And this is
Wow,
going
that's surprise. I thought that was a shot.
Me too. But this is a break for Cornell to get the clear over. And
10-man ride. We have a goalie change as well for Ohio State. Part of that is for their red dog situation.
Yeah, key here. It looks like it's Jack Allen who's come in. It is indeed Jack Allen, and Coach Busick's going to call a timeout, noticing, like you said, the red dog situation. So Kirst on the near sideline will be the trigger. He's covered by Cullen Brown and Marcus Hudgens. Kirst gets the ball away. He'll just throw it onto the opposite side as Kelleher is marked by the new goalie and Jack Allen, who's out there for the Red Dog 10-man ride. Wertheim now retreating as Ohio State tries to pile on the pressure here in this Red Dog. And Wertheim doing the smart thing, just retreating and letting the time lead. But the pass here is deflected.
Still Cornell ball.
Still going to be Cornell ball.
But the unfortunate thing if you're Cornell is this lets them set things up.
Long now getting doubled by Brown and Hudgens. And Cornell again doing this long pass to the opposite sideline. And Kirst is the one who picks it up, getting it over Fisher. And CJ Kirst will just take the opportunity to get his 7th goal of the game.
And that's the same idea, right? You throw it into that opposite corner and you go get the ground ball. And then he gets past the short stick and just throws it into the wide open goal with just under a minute to play in regulation.
7 goals for CJ Kirst. It's tough to add more superlatives to the amazing career that CJ Kirst has had in a Cornell Big Red uniform.
Well, I think he's hoping to add a lot more.
Again, Ohio State going back to Red Dog. Not quite, actually, as Jack Allen's going to stay back in the cage.
I think this is conceding the result at this point.
30 seconds left to go. Wertheim's just going to run around with Kyle Foster chasing him. But a huge comeback win for Cornell. Down by 2 goals at one point. Couldn't quite keep Ohio State off the score sheet at times in that first and second quarter. But a huge third quarter allows Cornell to go on a big run and eventually see out the game.
And I think for Cornell, the defense really stepped up in the second half. You know, the offense played well, but I think the defense really stepped up. there at the end to get this victory. A hard-fought 15-11 Cornell victory. A really entertaining lacrosse game here at Schoellkopf Field today.
Exciting times for Cornell lacrosse coming up. But alongside Tom LaFosse, I'm Christian de Guzman saying so long here from Schoellkopf Field. Your final score, Cornell 15, Ohio State 11.